Football, a sport that has been around for many, many years and has influenced many people's lives. Whether they are watching or playing the sport, there is no debate it has had a major impact on the entire sports industry. The National Football League, NFL, was established in 1920 and has gone through many changes since then. It has taken the world by storm and to this day is very successful, but things weren't always as good back then for the sports league. Back when the NFL started, segregation played a major role in national sports. Some people decided to push the boundaries of segregation and accomplish their dreams. Frederick Douglass, Fritz Pollard, has faced the challenge of segregation and becoming a successful NFL player and coach, and paving the way for African Americans into the NFL. Fritz Pollard was born on January 27, 1894. He grew up in Chicago, Illinois, with his parents and his 7 other siblings. He was in an environment where segregation was very prominent. He went to Lane Technical High School and played on the school's football team, track team, and baseball team. He was one of the best on the football team, even though he was small for a football player. He was very fast and had very good agility. Many colleges would not accept African Americans into their sports teams at the time because of segregation laws. To move his education forward, Fritz Pollard found a school that he could play sports at, which was Brown University, which was located in Providence, Rhode Island. But he didn't get enrolled into the school until 1915 because he didn't meet a foreign language requirement. He majored in chemistry and played on the school's football team. Fritz Pollard was one of the best on the college's football team. He helped the team get the most successful football season in the school's history so far, 8-1. Some people caught attention of this because of the easy wins he got from Harvard and Yale's teams. Also, when playing against other teams, he would often get racial taunts thrown towards him to try to get into his head and throw him off his game.
For years and years, my father had taught us how to not pay any attention to anything like that. Even in intercollegiate football, guys used to, "Oh, little black boy," and things like that, at the Yale team and the Harvard team, And I got so, and even out where I lived, in the community in which I lived, people used to say, "Oh, that's that little black boy, that athlete," this and that and the other thing.
He was also very successful in running track and field. He won the New England Intercollegiate titles in 1916 to 1917. His success in college would not last very long for him, though. Fritz Pollard became academically unable to play on the school's football team because of his grades, so he decided to drop out of school during spring of 1918 and chose to be a physical director in the Army's Young Men's Christian Association unit located in Maryland at Camp Meade. Around this time in Lincoln University, Pennsylvania, he was a head coach for the school's football team. Deciding to move his football career forward, he joined the American Professional Football Association, which would later be known as the NFL. He was placed on the Akron Indians team, which was later renamed Akron Pros. It was very hard for him to get onto the team, but because of his skills in college football, he was drafted into the team. He was called many different names and was harassed by the spectators in the stands, and sometimes his teammates as well. Fritz Pollard stated, "It was evident in my first year at Akron back in 1919 that they didn't want blacks in there getting that money. It was often said in interviews during his time in the NFL, he would often get beer bottles chucked at him from people in the stands. Also, when playing people on the other team, he would often get targeted, or they would try to hit them harder than they would for other players.
As small as I was, no one had any sympathy for me at all. And they used to come in on me, and when they came in on me, they used to hit me, one on top, one below, in order to try to take me out. But my brothers had taught me how to spin out of those kind of things.
His career was very good with the Akron Pros. He helped the team get the first championship win in the league with 6 wins, 0 losses, and 3 tied games. His skill gained the attention of coaches, so when it came time for recruiting for the next season, coaches were more open to African American players to be on their teams. In a way, Fritz Pollard paved the way for African Americans into the NFL because he showed off his sheer talents and pushed through the boundaries of segregation, accomplishing his goals. Soon after playing for the league for 7 years, he went on to become the first black coach in the NFL, coaching the Akron Pros. He also went on to coach the all-African American team called the Black Hawks. He also coached some other teams in the NFL at the time as well. People were not a fan of him being a coach because of the color of his skin. So because he did not want to get a lot of backlash from the public, he was paired with a white coach on each of the teams he has coached for to hide his responsibilities of being the team's coach. At this point, Fritz Pollard was in and out of coaching and playing for different teams and leagues. After retiring from coaching in the NFL, he tried many other jobs like being a booking agent, filmmaker, and tax consultant, just to name a few. But right before the years of World War II, the NFL became an all-white sport. They received a lot of backlash for this, and Fritz Pollard would try to protest and bring awareness for this by writing newspaper articles about this. He would also try to create and fund African American football teams. Finally, in 1946, the NFL would end being an all-white sport, and Fritz Pollard even tried getting his teams into the NFL, but it never got the green light. Fritz Pollard's actions would not go unrecognized, as in 1954, he was the first African American to be named to the National Football Foundation's College Football Hall of Fame. Along with that, in 2005, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which showed his forever impact onto the NFL and football as a whole. His enshrinement speech was delivered by his grandson, Fritz Pollard III. He says, "Grandpa, the crowds are cheering. The seats behind me and in front of you are filled with your legacy. After today, everybody will know the gifts you've given to football, from its earliest, from its crowd-thrilling game-winning plays to a string of firsts. The first Rose Bowl, the first College Football Hall of Fame, Walter Camp's All-American team, coaching and quarterbacking, and last but not least, pushing for African American equality in pro leagues. You've done more than earned your place in history, in the history of football. Rest in peace, Grandpa. Rest in peace."